Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Portia and I am currently in recovery from anorexia. Today's video is about my 1 month all in. So I've been all in recovery for a month, which is crazy. I feel like it has gone a lot faster than what it felt like. Yeah, the time has really flown by. But I just kind of wanted to update you guys on how I've been feeling, what I've been doing, improvements, or just kind of anything that's been going on. So a quick disclaimer before we get into it. There is going to be talk about eating disorders, and also talk about things like self-harm, suicidal thoughts, just kind of other mental health things in general. So if for any reason any of these things might be triggering to you, please just click off the video, and you can always contact me on my Instagram page, or you can comment down here, and I'd be happy to answer any questions about All In that you might have. But getting started, let's see. Have I been going? Well, I've gained weight. I actually don't know how much weight, but I've been growing out of clothes. So clothes that I had got when I came just out of inpatient, I no longer fit in. So I would say I'm probably just a bit over my inpatient weight, like my discharge inpatient weight. I'd say just a bit over that if I had to guess. But yeah, I've been growing out of clothes, jeans, dresses, skirts, grown out of all of them. I realised I needed some jeans but couldn't bring myself to buy any yet. I can't face that. It's hard enough growing out of clothing. So what I did was I went and got really nice trackies and like just like loose fitting pants like that, that I could still style nicely without the like terror of going into a changing room, because that is still really confronting for me, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it yet, and I'm trying to be gentle with myself. So I decided to stick with you know, more loose fitting pants. I am a size that I didn't want to be. It was my size before my eating disorder. It's a perfectly fine size. There's nothing wrong with any size, but like, it's the size I was before my eating disorder. It is a very me-sized me. Like, that's what I am right now, me-sized me. But you know, I just held like a lot of worth over this number of like my pant size. Like, I have this skirt that is a ridiculous size. It's just stupid. The size it is stupid. But I remember going in, and this was after I came out of inpatient and everything, and I went to the shops and I picked up this skirt in this tiny little size, and I thought, if I don't fit into this, I'm not allowed to buy myself anything else the whole day. And so of course I fitted into it, I bought it and everything, and that obviously doesn't fit me now. It was never meant to fit me. I'm not even like, it's a ridiculous size. And yeah, it was hard because that felt like a loss of achievement growing out of that, because it felt like such an achievement when I could fit into it. But at the end of the day, I'm just reminding myself that like, I'm not meant to be squeezing into clothes. I'm meant to be buying clothes that fit me, not trying to make the clothes fit me. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but yeah, you don't fit the clothes fit you. Does that make sense? So yeah, I'm remembering that, and that, you know, it's just a size, and I'm gonna get past it. It is a rough patch, I think, for everyone in recovery when they start growing out of clothing. I think that is a hard time for a lot of us. But just be gentle with yourself and keep powering through it. I will put in a few clips from, I had a few breakdowns. I know a few were kind of brought on by growing out of clothes. So I might pop them in a second. I'll put up on the screen the time that you can click to skip these, because they are emotional breakdowns, so if you don't want to see that, you can skip ahead. But yeah, they're not like full-on deep breakdowns, but they're definitely breakdowns that I could catch on camera. So you guys can kind of see like that I don't always just feel great, and I'm not always motivated to recover, but I do have to choose to do it anyway. And that you can do that too. You can feel like shit and be crying and in a breakdown, but then still go ahead and choose recovery. It is possible. So I'll insert those now. Oh, fuck. Is there people that actually live their life not wanting to die? Like, I don't understand. I don't know what that feels like. Oh, fuck. And that voice in my head's like, well, if you wanted to die so badly, you've never even made an attempt, you attention-seeking bitch. And I'm like, words of wisdom. Thank you. And I'm like, well, you know, Portia, you've got 3 rats, and no one in your family likes rats. So if you died, they're gonna rehome them, and that's gonna be really upsetting. But if you don't die and then you just end up in the psych ward again, you're gonna have to hope your family takes care of them, and then even if they do that, now you just haven't bonded, so when you come back, they're not even gonna like you. And like, this is basically my reason for not dying, is 3 rats. What? It's so hard to be in my body and I don't know what to do. Oh my god, she's so loud in my head. It's so loud. It's so fucking loud. It's so loud. It's so loud. Oh, my thigh gap is like nearly closed, and I don't know why, because that doesn't mean anything. Who cares about thigh gap? This isn't fucking Tumblr circa 2014, like, who gives a damn? But like, I give a damn. I give a damn. Oh my god, it's like you're not sick enough. You didn't get to a low enough weight. You didn't get to a low enough weight to recover. I don't even know how that makes sense. But I see other people's BMIs and I'm like, oh my god, they got to such a low BMI and I didn't get to that BMI. And I've seen people be discharged at the BMI I was admitted at, and then I'm like, Portia, this is all disordered. Everything that you're thinking is disordered. You can have a mental illness at any weight, at any BMI. You don't have to be underweight to have an eating disorder. You don't have to go inpatient to have an eating disorder. You don't have to have a feeding tube to have an eating disorder. None of that. But at the same time, and like, I worked, when I was inpatient, I worked so hard to not have a feeding tube. I did not want a feeding tube. And still, even now, I'm like, but you didn't have a feeding tube, so maybe you weren't really that sick. But it's like, I worked hard not to have that. I really tried my tomorrow is the day that I have like scheduled, planned my relapse for. Like my full relapse. Like I was gonna like just stop eating, and I was just gonna lose it all. I was gonna get back down to, the goal was that I would so fucking stupid, but I was planning to lose weight slowly, and then I had this date set tomorrow to then go like hardcore, and I was gonna lose all the weight as quickly as I could and get to my lowest BMI, get lower than what I was when I was admitted. I wanted to get as small as possible. Anyway, that's tomorrow, which obviously I'm not doing that because I'm choosing recovery. But it's really hard because I've been avoiding looking at my body in the mirror for the past few days because I could feel it, but my thigh gap's gone now, and I don't know why, but that had such a like, I don't know why having a thigh gap at 20 felt like my highest achievement, but it did, and it was just like this trophy, and this thing that makes me feel something. I don't know, it has my anorexic identity, and I think I've got my period back, which doesn't help either, because I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like everything has just been stripped. All the things that made me anorexic have just stripped, and I know that's not true. I know I'm still not mentally okay, because otherwise I wouldn't be crying about it, but I don't know. Okay, so now that we've got past, I'm not sure what clips I would have included, but my breakdown clips, let's talk a little bit more about how I've been going. I have slipped up with my self-harm, which isn't overly surprising, I will be honest. When I was impatient and I started to eat food and I started to gain weight, I felt like I lost my control, you know, my control over food. So I started self-harming because it felt like the only other way I could punish myself and the only other way I could gain some kind of control. So going all in, I guess I should have kind of seen this coming. And I am trying to get like on top of it, and it's not something that I want to be doing. I know it's not helpful. It's no better than having, you know, engaging in eating disorder behaviors. So I am trying to stop it, but I have slipped up, and you know, things like that might happen. You might find that other disorders or other coping mechanisms might creep in as you start to recover from your eating disorder. You might see that you might have more issues with depression coming up, or more issues with anxiety or PTSD, or previous, you know, unhealthy coping mechanisms, like maybe like overuse of alcohol or self-harm or drugs, things like that. And it's really hard to guide your way through it. but you can do it. You can do it, but don't be afraid to reach out for help, just because I know like sometimes it feels like even if you have a team helping you, it can feel like, oh well, they're just helping me with my eating disorder, so like I shouldn't tell them about this other stuff. But like that's not true. They're there to help you through everything. So make sure you tell them if you're struggling with something, even if it doesn't seem to be eating disorder related. So yeah, trying to get myself back on track with that, because I don't want to be doing it. I know it doesn't really help long term, and it's just not a habit I want to have. What else? Oh, I have had energy because I've been eating, and this meant that I actually hung out with a friend, and I haven't hung out with a friend in a long time, let alone have a sleepover. I haven't had a sleepover since I was 16 and I am now 20. So it was really good. She's another girl in the recovery community. She's absolutely lovely, and we just had so much fun, and it was so much fun to actually hang out with a friend again. And it made me realize like what I'm missing when I'm sick, because when I was sick I did have a friend who I started distancing myself from. Some of my friends, the very few that I did have, I just completely distanced myself from, because I was too scared to hang out with them in case food would be involved. Whereas now I'm there like, I hope food's involved. Like, where are we getting food from? I'm hungry. So yeah, it made me realize like that choosing recovery, you really are choosing life. And you can make your life so full and happy if you nourish yourself and you let go of your eating disorder. I've literally covered my entire room, like the mirrors in my room, the walls in my room, with recovery quotes that I just look at every single day. Let me get my favorite one, actually. I'll do that at the end of the video. I'll get you my current favorite quote that I'm repeating, and read it to you guys at the end, just so you can kind of, I don't know, it might help some of you as well. I know it's helping me. But I really do recommend that, like, cover your walls in quotes, because it will make a difference. Seeing them, like when you have to see it all the time, you do feel a difference. Physically, my body is growing. I'm gaining weight, but and my skin is breaking out like crazy. I cannot control it. There's nothing I can do. It's just gonna do what it's doing because hormones are happening. I had my first period, so I think we're getting that back up and running. I think things are starting to work again, hopefully it wasn't a fluke. And don't get me wrong, that was really hard. I dealt with getting my period and growing out of clothes basically at the exact same time, and that was really hard. I held a lot of feeling like I was sick enough in attachment to having lost my period, so now having it back, really tough thing. But again, just be gentle with yourself during it. There's no easy way around it, but it is normal, and it's what it's what you should be having. If you lost your period, you're not meant to lose it, you're meant to have it. So you just got to keep fighting, really. Sorry, it stopped recording. I've had a few traumas kind of pop up that I haven't quite processed enough through yet, which I'm gonna have to take up with my team and talk to them about, because I think it is going to be a very big part of my recovery, is overcoming those traumas. Extreme hunger wise, I do get spurts of extreme hunger, and other times I'll feel like if I don't remind myself to eat, I won't eat. I'm definitely going in between the two. But if I don't eat enough because I feel like I don't have any hunger, then by the end of the night I'm like eating like 12 protein balls. So I know that I do have to still eat enough throughout the day, or I'm going to end up at this like nightly feast, which isn't, I don't want to say like that it's a bad thing or anything, but you still need to nourish yourself throughout the day properly. And then if you're still hungry for that feast at the end of the night, whatever, but you need to nourish yourself properly throughout the day first. So yeah, I'm struggling with that a bit. I do keep trying to make sure I eat like every 4 hours and keep on top of it. But it is hard sometimes, you know, if your body isn't giving you a hunger cue, it is really easy to just almost forget about it. And then yeah, by the end of the night I'm like 2 ice creams and like 4 protein balls down, and I'm like, oh, I should have ate more throughout the day. So, you know, there's that. I've been struggling a lot with suicidal thoughts. Luckily my home has been very Porsche proofed like baby proofed, to keep me safe from myself, but they definitely are popping up. I'm having a lot more intrusive thoughts, and again, this happened when I was impatient, so I'm just taking it as this is the way my body reacts and my eating disorder reacts as soon as I start to actually make progress. So I know I just have to keep moving and keep going. I definitely think all-in recovery is the way to go. I think obviously like meal plans and everything, they all have their place in recovery, and most people will always have to start with one of them. I know I did, but I think there will always come a time in anyone's journey where you will have to go all in, and I do think for me it's the way to recover fully. It's really, really tough. It's really, really hard, but I know that this is going to get me recovered, and I just have to be thankful for the support that I've got around me. Like, first of all, my pets. Like, when my suicidal thoughts are at the worst, or my relapse thoughts are at the worst, I'm like, I can't, because I've got rats and no one in my family will want them, so I have to do this for them. But even now, because my brain is so much healthier than when I was at my lowest weight and I literally didn't care about anything. Now I care about more things. Like, I'm like, oh no, I also, you know, I want to actually study psychology, and I want to be a good influence to my niece, and I want to be able to make friends, and I would like to travel, and I'm finding more and more reasons to stay. But even if you can't find all those reasons at the time, try and find one thing. It doesn't matter how small it was, like how small it is. I remember when I was younger, like high school years, and I would have a lot of suicidal thoughts, and a lot of the time the only thing that kept me going was like, you got to feed your cat tomorrow, you have to feed your cat tomorrow, you have to feed your cat tomorrow, and like that was it. And like technically someone else in my family probably would have done it, but it was just like having that one thing that kept me going, and that would be like, you have to feed the cat tomorrow, or like, you have something coming in the mail, like anything. You just need to find something to keep you going. It doesn't have to be gigantic, it just has to be something. And over time you will notice that you will find more reasons that you want to recover, as the healthier your brain gets, and the more energy you have to do more things. You'll find that you're finding enjoyment in more things. I don't know if that made any sense. I should really write down and plan these videos instead of just like jumping and sitting in front of the camera and like rambling. But that's kind of what I do. But yeah, all in recovery 1 month. It went really fast. I can't believe it. I am still struggling, but I am sticking to it. It doesn't mean I'm not struggling. I am, but I still keep going, and I still keep doing it despite the struggles. And I am grateful for all the support I have from all of you, because it is probably the #1 thing that motivates me to keep on going. When I see somebody comment, oh my gosh, Portia, this is so inspiring, you're inspiring me to recover, I love how raw and honest you are with your journey, like all that stuff, that is what motivates me to keep going the most, because I realize that this is what I want to do. I want to be able to help others. I don't want to be sick in a hospital room. I want to be able to help you. That's what I want to do. And I have to have those reminders, because a lot of the time it feels like, no, I need to be sick in that hospital room because I was never sick enough. Who's going to even want to like hear help from me? They won't even think I was sick enough. But guess what? You guys have never told me I wasn't sick enough, because it's only our own disorders that make us think that about ourselves. We don't think that about each other. Like, and hearing you guys just say what a help I've been honestly motivates me to keep going. So I'm really grateful for that, and you have all my support. Other than that, let me get that quote. I'm going to read it to you and then I will head off. So the quote that is currently keeping me going and is like my mantra is, "The hardest goodbye I've ever dealt was when I sent my eating disorder away for the last time. Having to cover my ears, humming loudly as she knocked at the door of my heart, pleading to dance. She does not love me. She only destroys me. She cannot come in. She cannot come in." And that's honestly what I've been going through. And every single time I just repeat to myself, she cannot come in. She cannot come in. She cannot come in. And it helps. So hopefully that helps you too. Other than that, thank you for catching up on my 1 month all-in journey, and I can't wait to see you guys at my next video. Bye!